offline.
No. Am I?
Yeah. What? Oh, there it is.
You're online.
There we go.
Are we working now? Is
Yes.
it now working?
It's working now. Good job, Sneaky. You unfucked it.
Look, it is a specialty of mine to simultaneously fuck and defuck. That came out wrong.
Where was C8? Why wasn't he here?
I'm glad that nobody will ever get a clip of that, because it is gone forever. Alright, now that we're done with that, let us actually get on with the show. Which is, hello, Internet. This is Fanfiction Contempt Theater 9002, number 49, with your host, SneakyDevil. Sorry for the technical difficulties, but they happen once in a while. Like your TV doesn't decide to turn on. Your TV being the vital screen infrastructure required to do this podcast.
I see.
Yes, I'm glad you do. So, because I have no idea what we're doing today, I'm just gonna randomly select from this list. There's definitely one I wanted to do today. I can't remember that.
Oh boy. It's gonna go horribly wrong.
Vassal's
When does it not?
You know nothing, Jon Snow. Pokemon trick? Oh, this is the edgiest one I saw.
Oh, hey, you got the stream working. Yay!
Yeah, no, I got it working.
He got the suck.
Where the fuck have you been for the last minute and a half, Atin?
Talking to my father.
Alright, so we got a couple of interesting ones that I recently added due to my researchment of fanfictions. So, what do you guys feel like? A Naruto fic? Is it wrong to pick up girls in a dungeon Bloodborne cross?
Oh,
Fate Stay Night?
I need to hear that second one.
Alright, so we're gonna do this one then. The Hunter in Aurario.
Oh, that's exactly what I was hoping for. I had the same dumb shitpost of an idea. Don't fuck it up, author.
I have no idea what the second fandom is.
Danmachi.
Yeah.
It's
no fucking idea what
it's just fantasy.
Now, of course, I would be remiss if I did not remind everyone that it is against which guidelines. Contact the authors of this here fanfiction. Could that be harassment? Don't do it.
I think it would.
Harassment bad. No do.
Yeah, leave to me.
No do.
As I said before, leave to me.
Cannot condone. Legally.
Alright.
Yeah, of course, legally being the word.
Alright, now that that's fixed too.
I don't know what this bit is.
I don't know. I'm just letting them go.
Why use many word when few word do job?
Indeed.
Oh wow. Nobody showed up. I'm real hurt. I'm glad Kilm showed up to like be here, but nobody fucking showed up to us. Sad.
That's
It's like we're back to the old days.
You announced it 6 minutes after the normal start time.
Yeah, but it's not like it ever changes.
And then there were technical difficulties after you thought you took care of the technical difficulties.
Yes. But it's not like it ever changes. It's not like I haven't ever changed when this show's going. I've been doing this
we also
for a while.
know that Isley is super busy in the workforce. Arn is apparently
busy being productive.
Arn has been inducted into a workforce of some sort. Calvin is more of a guest viewer at this point because he shows up. Want to say
honestly,
like
the only person I expect to show up every week is Isley.
And I'm disappointed. I let my expectations rise to more than one person per stream. I apologize.
I mean, I'm just here because I need something to do while I'm waiting for a queue in Final Fantasy. So, yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate your honesty.
Hey, it had to be said, man.
Hunter and Aurario.
Oh, by the way, I did pick up the new patch, and I convinced someone else to do it, so... I'll be
After
harassing you
the
sooner.
hunter is severed, formed the dream, awakes in the city Aurario. Now he has to work with a young adventurer that looks like a rabbit to understand this new world.
Really? That's who they're pairing him with first?
Author,
Already contrived. I like it.
you realize that when you awake from the dream,
You lose your penis.
wake up in your body. Your body that
I mean,
that never traveled to other worlds. Which means
Yeah.
if he's waking up in his body in Danmachi,
he'd just be a civilian, basically.
he always lived in Danmachi.
Now, to be fair, it's possible that he could, get magic and regain some of his skills, but he's gonna have to do a lot of grinding and leveling up.
Well, I
Also
mean,
join a
he's gonna
familia.
have muscle memory too.
Yeah, muscle
But-
memory is a thing, though. It's all mental, so. That a better idea of how to fight things, because
Well, I was
we've
gonna say-
seen people do Soul Level 1 run. So
Well, yeah, I was gonna say, which is the only reason a familia might take him in.
But
also PTSD, horrendous PTSD.
oh, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
They honestly, the execution ending is probably the worst ending for doing a crossover.
Yeah. Yeah,
Also,
it is.
you forget. Also, like the thing about dreams is that you forget most of it when you wake up.
Well, for crying out loud, when you beat the shit out of Mikolash, he goes, "Aw, I'm gonna forget everything."
Yep. Quite in that exact tone. Yeah.
Yeah,
But-
because Mikolash is like, "Oh, I've learned everything. Now I'm gonna forget it all. Thanks, jackass."
But like
Maybe he shouldn't have been such a cunt.
the
I
Moon
mean,
Presence
yes.
ending, or I've seen that in some interesting takes on an alternative Moon Presence ending. But like those sort of crossovers, where
What
like
was the canonical reason we need to kill Mikola?
is it?
Because
know.
because he's blocking the way.
Yeah, like he could have just stepped down. He would have never had to wake up. But no, he wanted to play hide and seek.
Well, not just he wanted to play hide and seek, he wanted to close all the doors. Like, if I could just walk through that room and ignore that helmeted fuck, I would.
Oh, sure, I'd say.
Yeah, no, literally, listen, I have no quarrel with you. I just gotta go through there.
Are you gonna let me through, Mikolash? No? Then I guess we have a problem.
Time to resort to murder.
The good old. Like that's the best way to make friends, really.
Well, and the best part, he just traps himself in a room. Like, the entire fight is chase this fuck until he locks himself in a room.
Ah, yes, Mikolash Cage.
That's the entire fight.
Anyway, as I was saying, so like that's like the worst form of crossover because yeah, you A, forget everything as we said, and B, you already existed in that world, so
Yeah.
nothing changes.
I mean, like
There's-
the thing about the like you can give the writer enough, like, hey, yeah, okay, I can kind of believe that maybe he didn't exist in this world and he woke up here because magic, fagic,
But
right?
that's like
you didn't.
Well,
because-
I was gonna say, here's the thing, right? For all the endings, technically speaking, the Danmachi world is the best one for the ending where he wakes up, because remember, the experience is just carved into your soul. Like,
also,
even if
you'd never Yeah.
True.
Continue.
That's the thing. So even if he forgets everything and wakes up forgetting everything, literally all he has to do is get one god or goddess to poke his back with some ink and go, "What the fuck?"
What happened to
Pokes
you? What
back.
is insight?
Pokes back, tentacles burst out and eat God.
That's
And
not
and
normal.
and about the whole like he wakes up
And
in the
this,
same place.
ladies
No,
and gentlemen, is
he
why
went
you buy armor
he
with your insight.
yeah, he first fell into the dream inside the clinic. When he does wake up, he's literally in this like place randomly just sleeping out in the fucking open.
That's fair.
It looks like one of the central plazas in Yarnum that you went through
Yeah.
earlier.
And that's a funny thing because
it-
you originally fell asleep in
Yeah,
this clinic.
because
So unless somebody kind of just
you physically traveled to Yarnum to
exactly.
get a cure for some terminal illness.
And then
Yes, but
go
no,
to
my thing is like you wake in one like you slept in one place, you wake a few meters away from that place. So technically, either somebody went like, "Hey, let's move this guy's body and let's not tell him. It'll be such a funny joke when he wakes up," or
Right.
Oh, he's
really,
dead. Let's just toss him by the well.
Yeah, that's
one of the two.
Well,
Yeah.
see,
But then who tossed the person?
the Moon
That's-
Presence ending, I feel is like the easiest ending because I've seen it done actually a couple ways. It's either like they're like, all right, dream's over. I'm gonna go wake up now as you know, a Moon Presence soul instead of
Which is just a
normal.
whole different level of fun depending on what universe you put
And,
them in.
and this was actually an interesting one. So
it really
it was a
just depends on
Ruby one,
what your
and
point
of
is.
course John is being used as the good hunter. But it was a Ruby one, and John's like, yes, I have finally defeated the Moon Presence. I have freed everyone. I've ended the nightmare. The dream is over. Yarnum is purged. Let me go home now.
I've done good.
And then he tried to use his aura upon waking up, and
nothing.
For some reason, when you said
accidentally
John, I kept thinking
ascended.
of John Marston in Bloodborne, and it made me laugh.
Can you give me the link of that? Also, John Marston in Bloodborne. would definitely
Yeah, I'll find that. But no, he accidentally ascends and semi-yeets Ruby's and Pyrrha's soul.
I'm sorry, what?
How do you...
In more words, no, elaborate. Kindly elaborate.
Well, because they were next to him, and they were like, "Oh, he's thrashing. Let us grab him." And so they grab him, and well, their souls are now in contact with his soul.
And he's a moon presence.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
I see the issue now.
And
The
he's like,
controlled one.
so he's doing that whole like, I'm an ascended great one. I understand the whole world now. Human problems are beyond me. And then he feels like these two souls like sort of starting to merge into him. He's like, oh wait, shit, no.
Bad.
Pushes their souls back into their bodies, and they're just like, oh my god, you're so great in that. He's like, ah, shit.
Full.
Oh, all right.
No,
You gave us our souls back. Yeah, that's because I didn't want your souls on mine.
It genuinely, surprisingly good. I was like, wow, this isn't trash. And then it stopped updating.
Oh, of course.
Such is the life.
But yeah, like I said, technically there is potential for someone doing a, you wake up ending specifically in Danmachi because of the way that soul power works there.
Right. Yeah. No. It is probably one of the better ways to end it. But as to wrap it all up before we actually get into the story, the wake up ending is probably the worst. Just hands down the worst way to do a crossover.
The only safe way to do that would
It's
be
also
like
the worst ending, so it makes sense.
Yeah, it's like
you didn't want to finish it? Cool, okay.
No, but nose here. The problem with the wake up ending is that A, you forget everything. B, you weren't transported anywhere, you don't wake up in a different dimension than the one you started in. Your body's still there.
All
You
the
could change
horrible
that.
murder monsters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just morning now.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the thing is with the wake up ending, you don't have any sort of like great one powers to travel to another realm. You don't like I can understand like you're the freaking moon presence now, and you're just like, you know what? I fucking hate this reality. I'm going to a different one.
Peace out.
No one's
Yeah.
stopping you.
The only way the wake up ending works is if you just do a fusion, because
Yeah.
the world's big enough. Oh yeah, Yarnum City's just this place, and if you want them,
Yarnum's just a city.
you could even have it like
It's
that's
southwest
like
of Chicago. Didn't you know?
that's the fourth
Yeah.
that's
I
the
thought
fourth
Yarnum
dream I've
was
had to
Chicago.
deal with in the last 10 years.
Oh
I'm
my
done
god,
with this
that's
shit.
the
I'm
greatest
going to
shit
the
post.
dungeon.
Yarnum is just Chicago.
There's a lot
No.
more Quicksilver bullets around.
That explains a lot.
No,
Wouldn't
it can't be Chicago. There wouldn't be more Quicksilver bullets, wouldn't there?
The game literally shits bullets into your lap. What are you talking about?
Anyway, so
Yeah, but
Well, no, I mean
Chicago
more of
shits
them.
them into your face.
you guys ready for this train wreck? Because I am.
Like,
Oh, by
the
the
game
way,
pays
also-
you to take bullets out of its fucking hands.
Now I want to see the story where Harry Dresden ends up as the good hunter.
Does
Why?
he get to keep his magic?
I would say yes.
You'd need it.
Anyway,
Comes
under the
back-
light of a moon, on
Who
a
needs to be the
field
Winter Knight?
full of white flowers, under a tree.
Enters the hunter's dream. Loud
Jesus
scream,
fucking Christ, author.
volume.
Under the light of the moon, on a field full of flowers. Oh, sorry. On a field of white flowers, under a tree. Fucking,
Wait,
it feels
I'm-
like the Call. Remember the
feel
Call
like
of Duty
this-
campaign loading screens where it's like
I
USA
feel like this
zooms
is
in a little
new
bit, Georgia
author.
zooms in more, Atlanta zooms in more, this development zooms in more, this house,
This address zooms in more in this corner of the sub basement.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's what I
Sneaky.
feel like this sentence is.
I have something that's gonna crush your soul.
Oh.
So
Oh,
this
no.
author joined the website back in 2013. His oldest story is from 2013. This was published this year. I get the feeling his writing has not improved.
I got
How
the
much
feeling
has it
a fair number of people have told him that his writing is fantastic, and he sees no reason to improve.
Oh yeah, that fucking I love it. Just like it's a constant feedback loop, isn't it? Because people are ready
Yeah.
to read as much trash as long as it's like either a harem or something like a
I
power
would say,
fantasy.
as long as it's the kind of trash that fulfills their specific desires.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like, why do you
Comma.
think Powerful John stories are so popular?
Because he's the
they
only
all
male
like
character.
to imagine that
Because John
they
is
aren't a
Miles
weak sack of
Luna.
shit.
Yeah. Because John is basically Miles Luna, and Miles Luna is a weak sack of shit. So,
Yeah.
ergo, anybody can step into the weak sack of shit role.
Well, I
It's
think
SI.
John's also useful because of a couple of other characteristics, as in he's one of the only men in the entire main cast.
That too.
Again, you gotta keep in mind there is a fair number of male fanfic authors, and yes, it is a bit difficult for us to write how women would actually
Well,
talk
I
and
mean,
interact.
just like I wouldn't expect a bunch of women to accurately depict guys hanging out.
As we've seen from AO3, none of them know how to do that.
Yes, I'm
Oh
aware.
yeah.
What's
But
that?
maybe all
They
we
punched
do is-
each other on the shoulder. That means they want to have gay sex, right? No, it just means they're really chill with each other. The fuck? Calm down.
No, clearly that means they're gonna have sex. No, it really doesn't.
No, stop. Stop.
But there's
Jesus
hidden
Christ.
desires. Oh my god,
Desist.
guys. You don't get it.
Yes.
It is by far one of the most frustrating things ever, because I've read a couple of really good fics on Archive of our own, for My Hero Academia, and like almost without fail, like halfway through into the story of maybe like 10 or so chapters in, suddenly
Gay
it's
sex.
like he looked at male character and his heart started beating faster. It was so nice hanging out with said person. He was such a friend. And it's just like, really, author? Are we really doing this?
Do you think that's what we do with our spare time? I got news for you. It's not.
Yeah, trust me, that's not how you gain MMR.
Facts.
How do you gain MMR?
They thought-
By constantly spamming one hero.
They
Hell
thought he was. They thought he was thinking about gay sex. He was actually thinking about the time he got a triple kill as Earthshaker.
I bet you're thinking about other girls. No, actually,
mean-
I'm thinking about that
I mean,
time
to
my
be fair,
teammates
getting a
completely
5
failed me.
Echo Slam dunk in late game is basically like having an orgasm as Earthshaker.
Oh hell yeah! Just like, and if there's a creep wave in the middle of it, just.
No, the
Oh,
best
the
is
creep
when
wave's
Brood
there.
No,
happens.
let's pick PL, Nature's
Brood.
Prophet, Broodmother, Spectre, and Anti-Mage all on one team. What could go wrong? Echoes! Echo!
The planet
Chaos!
Loud!
Go!
the Planetfall Arcana was made specifically to make people feel like that moment was
Oh,
all
of
the time.
course. Obviously. Anyway. One is an old man
It's a
in
disaster.
a wheelchair staring at the person below him. I guess the good hunter is
Yo!
blowing Gurdon.
No,
A younger
no,
man
you-
in his
No,
20s.
no, he's on a higher. No, he's sitting on a higher rating.
A
You know the whole-
younger man in his 20s looking up, portraying sorrow in his eyes. I mean, yeah, no.
Well, no, Sneaky. Specifically for
I
the,
know you. I know you kneel in front of him and he, chops your head off. I'm aware. But it's
Which,
just
incidentally, I want to point out how impressive it is that he chops your head off without getting up from the chair. Like, he
No, he does get
one-arms your head off.
yep
He does get up off the chair, dude.
To kill you, does he?
Yeah, he
to
does.
kill you.
Yeah, he does. He has to get up off.
Oh.
It's like
I
the
thought
only
I thought he
ending.
one-armed you to death. I was like, damn,
No,
that's
no,
some
he
arm
has,
strength.
He gets up, takes off his thing, and goes.
Oh, that's right, because that everybody went for that ending the first time, and they were like, wait, you can stand up?
The
Yep.
old man in the wheelchair, what?
Ah, indeed.
He is
No, he
wearing an old brown cap. The top he is wearing an old worn out suit and short cape and brown trouser with black shoes. What? The old man in the wheelchair, clothing description. What? The young man is wearing a tricorn hat with the back tips burnt off his face.
It's a tricorn. People, you don't. Everybody knows what the hell a tricorn hat is, especially if they've played Bloodborne. You can just say the only hat in the game worth wearing.
No,
Well,
I'm
it's
just,
not according to some people.
the tricorn hat with the back tips burnt off his face.
No, yes, I know that doesn't make any sense. I'm trying to ignore them.
Covered by a black bandana. So he's wearing a black bandana on the tricorn hat. That apparently has been burned off of his face.
Oh, why
the
are you ruining
author
a perfectly good
just
tricorn hat?
Missing a comma.
I know, and that's what I'm reading it like.
I know.
Wearing a white shirt
Bad.
with brown waistcoat, a belt going over the waistcoat on his chest. On top of the waistcoat is a gray trench coat and a small black cape being held with a chain. Author's note, this is the Hunter's set. End author's note.
Author's note, you're dumb. End author's note. Oh, I'm sorry, was that mean?
Good Hunter,
Yes.
you've done well. The night is near its end, he said in a sad tone. Now I will show you mercy, and you will forget the dream. Probably the best dialogue we're going to see in this whole story, because he just copied and pasted from Fetch for Life.
Yeah. But, I don't expect anything else.
Very well, William. Blah, 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 blah. Sympathies. He gets up from his wheelchair and pulls out his scythe, and he executes him. Blah, blah. Fear the old blood. Tear going down
You know what?
German's
What
cheek.
if I don't fear the old blood? What if I want to go take a bath in it?
I believe that's the part where you start sprouting tentacles.
I mean, maybe I like Slanesh.
That makes you a heretic.
I'm pretty sure Slanesh likes Slanesh.
No, I'm pretty sure Slanesh wants to fuck Slanesh out of existence. That's different from liking them.
Okay, how does that work? Just
Slanesh
I mean,
will find
I'm
a
sure
way.
they could just
how does that work
make
in any way? Plan of existence. Is it just
I'm
like
sure,
my own
here's the
clone
thing, I'm sure
situation?
they want to try.
Yes.
because here's the thing, I'm willing to bet the thought process is, if I do what was done to me, I can make another hole in reality.
I fucked myself into existence. I'm gonna fuck myself out.
My own clone. Now neither of us.
This is just escalating very strangely.
I don't know where the fuck Nose Hair is taking it. That's some weird shit. That ain't kosher.
It's a fucking meme. Shut up.
That ain't kosher.
Move on.
The area is in a cave system with blue crystals dotted all around the cave as a figure lying down near one of those crystals. What?
But
William awakens from his slumber, opening one of his eyes staring at blue crystal. He takes off his hat, revealing messy hair, rubbing the
Oh, I
side of
just
his
realized
head
something
to
else.
try and stop the pounding in his head.
Sneaky, the hunter might get muscle memory, but most of their muscle memory is going to be useless because
Trick
none of
weapons,
their
I'm aware.
weapons exist in that world in any capacity.
I'm aware. You can still have, like reaction.
Yeah, I mean,
Muscle
you can
memory.
still dodge, but
You can still dodge, he says, as one of the most valuable means of not dying in Bloodborne.
remember, if you can dodge an Eldritch Hand, you can dodge a ball.
can you dodge an angry Minotaur that's covered in darkness that wants to fuck you?
Yes.
Depends on if you have the bone or not.
Eventually, he
And by
pulls
bone, I mean
himself
the
together
dodge bone.
and gets up while putting his hat back on. He notices that he is lighter and sees he doesn't have his weapons, but he feels something tugging in his trousers.
Whoa there, boy! Hold on, you ain't even gotten to the dungeon yet.
And he looks down to see small pale creatures with terrifying features staring at him. If it was anyone else, they would run away screaming. But William knew that the little ones are harmless. What perplexes him is how they are able to communicate with him when he has been severed from the dream. How is this possible? I have been severed from the dream. I shouldn't be able to see you. No, you still have that insight.
You're never getting rid of it. The old lady down the street, actually an eldritch abomination.
Mm-hmm. Actually Cthulhu. Just full out. Actually Cthulhu. They did not reply to him, but instead they push up a handle to reveal the church peg. Thank you, at least I won't be weaponless. A second group appeared next to him, more static. A second group of them appeared next to him, more static. What? I don't even know what they were trying to say there.
I got nothing.
Why do you look different from the other? Once again, he reaches to go grab his firearm, the blunderbuss, but his hand goes through the weapon. Thinking he missed it, he tries again and is able to grab it. Thank
What?
you, little
So
ones,
he's
for the
just
firearm.
he's just grabbing magic guns that don't exist.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah. Side note: have fun trying to counter people with guns. Oh wait, you can't. They don't exist.
Pulls trigger on gun. Fires illusionary bullet. Hits person. Nothing happens. It's an illusionary bullet. Hello, Birdie.
Yeah, I don't think those have actually shown up yet. The
I was saying.
most we've got are like the most we have are wrist-mounted crossbows. It's the best that's shown up in the light novels so far.
Okay, Assassin's Creed.
No, really, that is in there.
I know, it's just Assassin's Creed.
Stib.
Am I having fun? I am getting drunk, so you can choose to interpret that however you wish. Anyway, so, it's generally bad grammar, bad sentence structure. Blah, blah. He cuts a projectile in half with the church pick. Okay.
Darned impressive, that.
He hears growling, and then a green creature pops out of the cave, and then apparently he's wearing his hunter's garb.
He shouldn't be, but he is.
So, the weapon didn't come through with him, but his clothes did. Because...
Well, I mean, obviously, the dream preserved the most important part of the game. Fashion souls.
It seems no matter where I go, there's something thrilling happening to me, he says in a twisted tone. So, blah, blah. They run at him, and he runs at them, and he stabs them all to death with a really shittily described fight scene. And so the William decides to experiment on the creatures with style, and uses them as practice to get his stylish attacks down. And he stabs them all, and they all die.
I would say, oh, you mean the thing that was clearly just a game mechanic and you shouldn't be taking seriously, author?
Yes.
You act like these kind of people don't take game mechanics seriously.
Of course they
Also, you could, I wouldn't have cared if they just called it a fucking riposte. The other thing it's called in the game.
Also known as spam the attack button, please.
Well, no, it's try really hard to time it right, fail, spam the button in anger.
I'm sure one of these will work. Right, Max? Just spam the button until it works. That's how that works.
Yeah, I mean, there are a number of games that will eventually get a different outcome.
And then the monsters all poof into black smoke. And then using this opportunity of them poofing into black smoke, he stabs more monsters to coat himself in blood. And then all the monsters try and run away from the crazy madman who's bathing in their blood. And he looks disinterested at all the monsters poofing into black smoke. And then he loots all the
And how's he
corpses.
doing this without weapons? Is he just punching them?
No, remember he has a church pick.
Oh, right. He shouldn't, but, he does.
Yeah. Also, picking the church pick as your first weapon.
Yeah, that's a pretty terrible option.
Like, I don't even play Bloodborne, and I know you're already a bitch for doing that.
Well, what does it even do? Like, nothing in that game is armored.
I mean,
Or
you could
barely
always just
anything.
gun lancers.
Well, there are things in the game that have armor. There is a set that is literally just plate mail.
Your face is plate mail.
Best
I'm talking
overall
about
defense
enemies.
in the game. Yeah, there are some things with armor. The armor is just usually not in important spots.
Yes. Because as we all know, Eldritch Abomination twisting of a
Actually, aren't
person's
the,
character does in fact move the armor to non-vital locations.
Aren't there like stout armor dudes in that game, especially like in lower Yarnum or like upper Yarnum or something? I vaguely recall that there are.
How are you doing today, Birdie?
Hi, Birdie.
You enjoying it?
Hello, bird.
There's the executioner, the dudes with giant axes.
Oh yeah, those dudes.
I would say, alright, so that's 2.
Yes.
But yeah, bottom line, church pick, terrible choice, pick the chain whip.
The first one, see, he finally makes it to the source of a group. Wait, he finally makes his way to the source of the voices to see a group of teens.
I'm going to follow the voices in my head. They shall lead me to the demons.
What do I do, my lord? Slaughter them all.
I am lost without purpose. What must I do? You must dance.
Alright. Blah 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 literally just describes a bunch of the characters from Danmachi. Or I assume it is because I don't fucking care. Blah blah blah, complaining, blah 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 blah, complaining. I feel like someone's watching us. You must be paranoid. Come on, let's keep moving. Levels. What? Wait, possessive form. Author. What? Why is there an apostrophe there?
Because fuck you.
Fuck
That's
you
why.
and everything you stand for. That's why.
What in the name of the old blood? Where? They talking about? And why would people let kids down in such a dangerous place? He can hear a female scream in the distance, and going against his better judgment, he quickly makes his way towards it.
What?
Yeah.
Going against his better judgment, he's the good hunter. You spend the entire game trying to help people. Failing
What?
miserably, but trying.
When
It
he
goes-
arrives, he can see a young boy instead of a girl huddled in a Fedez position, trying to
Interesting.
hide from a rather large bull pounding the wall above the boy. The bull, blah blah blah, at the Minotaur, blah blah. Using the advantage presented to him, he sneaks up behind the bull and stealth assassinates it, using a series of flashy style moves. The boy is sitting there amazed at what he just witnessed. You all right, boy? William asks. End of first chapter. See, I
Well,
know
congratulations. Here's the problem with that, author. You've literally ruined the entire development of the story.
Yep.
Because his entire thing is, I really want to bone this girl, so I'm gonna try real hard to get on her level.
Yeah.
Good hunter, I'm going to help the world, this world perfectly. 20 minutes later, the world is now on fire. I've done it.
Right. So far from this story, the author has picked the worst way to end the Bloodborne section. The character
Also, the worst spot to stick him in.
The character mysteriously woke up in the dungeon, wearing hunter's clothes with a hunter's weapon. He tried to lampshade some sort of glitch in reality in where the dream isn't real or something, question mark.
Which, to be fair, it's arguable that the dream was never real.
Which, I mean, yeah, it gets fair, but the way he lampshaded it was fucking poor.
Yes.
He doesn't know his homophones.
Well, the only thing is
He
the
doesn't
thing
know
is with
what
the dream
commas
is it
are.
could be
He
real, but
doesn't
it also
know
could
what
not be real.
apostrophes
And
are.
ultimately, I'll just shut up.
And he decided to derail the entirety of plot just right off the bat. Like, that's another thing I've noticed when I've tried reading a couple of Don Machi crossovers in the past, and like there's a decent number of them that have them save what's it named? Bell?
Yeah.
Yeah. They have them
Wait,
save
L?
Bell.
Oh,
from
Bell.
the
For a second, I
Minotaur.
thought you said L. I was like, wait, what? Why is there a fucking shitty character from a shitty anime in there?
And it was not alright.
They save Bell, and then they just kind of walk off in like several of these crossovers, not just the Bloodborne section. And it's just like, all right, congratulations, you've completely derailed any form of canon event. What's the plan now, champ?
Yeah. So he managed to pick the worst Bloodborne ending, the worst way to go about it, the worst spot in the story to insert him.
Nah.
Oh boy.
You know what we need to soothe our souls? We need a Warhammer Worm Cross.
How is that
No,
supposed to soothe our
that
souls?
will do the opposite of soothing my soul.
That will do the opposite.
Nah, I'm pretty sure it'll.
Is it good Warhammer or is it fantasy Warhammer?
Okay, hold the fuck up, boyo. Fantasy Warhammer is pretty goddamn good.
Not anymore, it ain't.
Okay. What do you mean by not anymore, Nate? Are you talking about
Age
the
of
space...
Sigmar.
We don't talk about Age of Sigmar.
Oh, we talk about Age of Sigmar, boy.
No, we don't talk about Age of Sigmar. Shut up.
Anyway,
happened.
The same. It's the reason we don't talk about Age of Apostrophe at all.
so this is Empress Ascendant, the Warhammer 40k worm crossover. The Emperor wasn't sure how he ended up in a different universe or what the parasite leeching off of humanity was. But he was the guardian of mankind,
By the
and
Emperor.
there was at least one person on this world worthy of taking up his mantle. Yes. Taylor. Pre-Warlord Skinner Taylor. Yeah. No. Not at all.
Also, bear in mind when I say good Warhammer, I do mean that in the loosest sense of the term, in that 40k is better than fantasy. That does not mean it's a quality product.
No, it's not. But it just right here. It's just Taylor is the only person on the entire planet that is worthy of being turned into the next Emperor clone. And I'm just sitting here
I
like,
can think of several people who are significantly better choices.
yeah. I mean, not only that, the fandom just has this really warped image of Taylor. I can only assume at this point, because it wasn't until like post Leviathan Warlord where she started actually becoming I'm not gonna say competent, but not trash. Cause like original Taylor, before she goes off on her adventures, thinks being able to control bugs in a multi-city block radius is going to be a hero power. B, that she can just infiltrate villains and then go to the heroes and say, hey guys, I totally was not a villain. I was actually a hero all along, pretending to be a villain so I could tell you about the villains, but not actually do anything to capture them or hand them over to you. Because I also made friends with them. Because I am a desperate, lonely person who likes to think they plan everything out, but can't seem to get past the first step of do. She had a very black and white view of the world, of either you are a paragon of virtue or you're a rapist murderer.
To be fair, she didn't... Like, Brockton Bay was, at least initially, fairly cut and dry between the good guys and the rapist murderers.
Not at all. Not at all.
You had a gang of Nazis. You had a gang of psychotic Asians in response to the Nazis.
No, not at all. The heroes were all corrupt. The whole hero organization in Brockton Bay was corrupt as shit, but they put on a pretty picture on the outside.
Sneaky, the important part of that pretty picture is they didn't know that they were corrupt as shit.
Okay, what about corruption?
The PRT.
Hey, Sneaky, you want to fix the link in the Discord?
You
You linked the previous story again.
And then the Nazis are quote unquote the bad guys, but actually they fought off the thief. They fought the merchant. They fight the merchants, and the area they hold, the territory they hold, is objectively some of the cleanest and nicest parts of the city.
does not make them less scumbag, Sneaky.
No.
They are still literal Nazis, which is the problem.
Yes. However, it does not make them black. It makes them gray. They are objectively gray. Because while they are Nazis, they are objectively actually one of the best groups in the city for the common person's safety.
You know, as long as they aren't black.
Well, yes. That's part of the Nazi bit. But the point stands, though, is that they, comparatively to the other groups, are the strongest, most powerful, actually keep their section of the city mostly safe, clean.
I mean, besides from the fact that they're Nazis, but whatever.
Yes, like I said, it's
There's
not
that
black
one
and white.
tiny
We say, we're not gonna let the Nazi thing go.
Yes, I am aware. I'm just saying, again,
in this and
Taylor's
Okay, but-
black and white world does not fit the Nazis into it. So then let's look at the ABB. Also not black and white. It's a disparate group of multiple gangs that were put together by a stronger individual for the sole purpose of him leading a gang. We never really got his true motives. But as we could see from the little interactions that we have, it was also a response to the Nazi problem. Hey, all Asians, band together. The Nazis want to exterminate you. Okay, well, you can't exactly blame the Asians for banding together when there's a group that says they literally want to exterminate you in the city.
I don't, but I do blame them for the prostitution.
Oh, no, again, that's not my point. My point is that they aren't black and white. They are gray. Again, the PRT.
These
gray.
may be things that started for
merchants.
gray reasons, but the actions they perform are black and white.
Still gray.
You might be able to argue that with the Nazis. The ABB sections are described as not the merchants.
Oh, I know.
But
I'm aware.
Certainly run down, poorly taken care. Like
I'm aware, but the problem there is the ABB has to do what it has to do to stay together as a gang. And again, it's a bunch of gangs, bunch of people that do not work together previously, only held together because a single guy is going to kill them all if they don't. So it is not a well-functioning gang. It's not a cooperative gang, and they do a whole bunch of shady ass shit that is horrible on multiple levels. But there's Nazis. So they have to present a unified front. Even if they're really shit at keeping unified, there's Nazis. So they have to. And from what I can sort of remember / glean is, back when there was during the Marquise era, these gangs still existed as the separate entities. Like the ABB was all the separate gangs at this point during the Marquise era, and their areas weren't run down. It's just the whole being unified thing that sort of ruined them because they were told to work together with people they can't communicate with and they don't like. So all the Asians hate each other. But Nazis. So again, gray. They if Lung was gone, the ABB wouldn't exist, and each gang would do their own thing of a varying level of justifiable and horrible. But Lung exists, so they do certain actions because A, they know they can get away with it, and B, because they need the money and they're terrible at staying together as a unified gang. But Nazis. The Teeth, that is the one gang you can say is objectively horrible, completely black, no gray area there. They are just flat out evil. Cord's not flat out evil. Another gray area.
I didn't say he was. I didn't say he wasn't gray.
Yeah.
He's a shithead, but he's the one that I'll definitely agree with as gray.
Coil,
course-
you could
Of course,
argue, as a very, very dark shade of gray. He wants the city intact. He wants the city actually functioning and smooth, but he wants to be in control of it and is willing to do pretty much fucking anything to get that to happen. So there's the black part. But he is also sort of like Team Rocket in that he actually wants a functioning city to rule over by the time he takes it over. Sneaky's a Nazi sympathizer. I take offense to this statement. But my point is that Taylor's black and white worldview, again, at the start, is absolutely useless, especially to the Emperor, who did thousands of years of shady ass shit. Prepare for trouble and make it double. Team Rocket needs to show up and warm. Clearly, that's what I'm taking away from this. But it just, I just get frustrated with this sort of shit where it's like, yes, like Taylor doesn't trigger with like the Emperor's powers or some shit like that. Like it isn't a shard that copied the Emperor or some shit. But rather it's like the Emperor interrupting the trigger process and being like, I am choosing you as my next successor. You, the antisocial, fanatical, naive.
I mean, he did pick Horus to be his war master.
Stupid.
So
Don't forget stupid.
Incredibly
Again,
stupid.
again, he picked Horus.
But Horus was Horus was corrupted by a literal demonic resurrection in which he had no choice. After being stabbed by a demon sword. Like, Horus was a perfectly fine choice until someone, resurrected him with demon power.
I mean, maybe next time you shouldn't get stabbed by a fucking nobody.
You mean stabbed by a guy who was literally being possessed by Nurgle himself?
He was still technically a nobody.
He was possessed by the demon god of plague. That tends to raise your power levels. I don't know. What do you think, Max?
About what?
At least Horus isn't.
Would being
Existence.
possessed by a demon god of plague raise your power level?
At least he's not on the same level of jobbing as fucking
Probably.
White Scar's leader.
I don't know. Like,
Mark.
what kind of possession we talking? Like,
Full body.
I'm
Fully
gonna
enforcing their will on reality.
I'm gonna assume then, yeah, that probably comes with a bit of a raise in power.
Oh, and he had a demon sword. But, Ricky thinks he was still a jobber.
But anyway, shut the
Well,
fuck up.
what's he comparing him to?
A
Nothing.
space marine.
But anyway, it's just Taylor. Start of story Taylor is just the most incompetent character, and which means there's lots of room for growth and development, and we get to see her come into her own and actually be a terrifying warlord of untold ruin and destruction. But what all these fanfic authors seem to forget is that early game Taylor's fucking an incompetent moron. Like,
Now, you might argue, the Emperor can see the future. He sees that she becomes competent. but that's still a heck of a gamble because the Emperor is one of the first people who will be like, the future is not set in stone. If it was, my sons wouldn't have stabbed me.
Basically. But yeah, it's just like Taylor is early on. Taylor.
Okay, guys, I think the future's set in
No
stone.
bueno.
So instead of going along with that future, I'm going to fuck off for like 300 years and go work on sciencey stuff. You guys have fun. Also, Magnus, don't teleport anything stupid into Terra at all.
Proceeds to teleport stupid things into Terra.
Let me look this up. How to not fuck up.
This
Wow,
is
this
hard.
looks hard. It's my favorite fucking.
So I was
Magnus
reading Worm, and this idea got into my head. I'm not sure how good it is. It's fucking awful. Or if people
It's
will
not.
like it. Will people like this? Apparently people like this, and I'm disappointed in reality. You give me a chance to read something action-packed than Harry Potter. Edit.
Oh.
Edit 2017. Alterations to formatting and, as my usual, double spacing to mark paragraphs has inexplicably gone AWOL. Why are you double spacing for paragraphs?
What? It's gone AWOL because they decided to enforce real grammar on you. That's
I've
why.
been forced to use actual line breaks. And so I added a few more lines in as the reviews point out. So what I'm getting here, because I remember this story from Space Battles, so what I'm getting here is that they just copied and pasted what they put into Space Battles. They copied and pasted what a completely different word processor uses, and just thought fanfiction would just do whatever Space Battles does. Because they use the exact same word processor, don't you know? Fucking moron. The Emperor could have never guessed that he could find himself in a worse situation than his internment upon the Golden Throne. Massive agonies. Slowly feeling himself dying and seeing mankind slowly going extinct and the itching of phantom limbs, if he ever recovered, he was going to beat Nurgle into a whining pulp for that. But he had been wrong.
I mean, isn't Nurgle already a whining pulp?
Yes. There was something worse, and that is the endless void. And he wasn't even sure what happened. He had been communicating with the Void Dragon that was quintessent on Mars, as
What?
it turned out.
What Void
Hold up.
Dragon?
Hold up. 1. Why are you conversing with the Void Dragon? 2. Why are you conversing with the Void Dragon?
As it
3.
turned out,
Why is this Bungie?
the ancient Martian star god had mostly recovered from the psychosis.
Oh yeah, it is Bungie because they're basically fucking turning the Void Dragon into the goddamn Grave Mad. Cool.
Induced by massive consumption of mortal souls, and was still relatively sane and helpful.
Not
Which
that I'm
he
gonna
had
knock the
felt
Grave Mind, but
when he
the
had
Void
felt
Dragon is
an
not the
enormous distortion in the warp. It hadn't been anything he had recognized. His best guess was the Dark Gods finally stopped being polite and started murdering each other, and the backlash, well, he had no idea. He had attempted to brace the Astronomicon against the wave, but he assumed it had been futile. Regardless, the last thing he sensed was a wash of power as the Void Dragon rose from his slumber and ate humanity.
what?
Oh boy! This looks like someone read too much text to speak.
Look, guys, text-to-speech is funny if you contain your universe in the text-to-speech device. Like,
All capital letters and bolded. Yet another failure. This place is even worse than the warp. At least there I would get to obliterate some daemons. Blah blah blah. That looks like Terra, but one far younger than I recall. Blah,
no, that's
blah,
literally not
blah.
possible because the Emperor's origin was at the dawn of mankind.
Wasn't it some, like, tens of thousands of shamans murder fucking ritual into his?
No. They sensed a great evil, which would later turn out to be the Chaos Gods. They sensed great evil and were like, shit, we need to protect the world from this. And the solution was to all die and join into, like, a gestalt consciousness that became the
They
Emperor.
basically just committed mass suicide and some shit and just moved and merged together.
Right.
It wasn't like that.
Mhm.
It was very decidedly non-Slaneshian.
It looks
Could-
like
couldn't it just all
Nurgle
take,
had a
like, suicide
child.
pills,
Oh,
basically?
okay. So he's looking at a slug thing hovering over the planet. That's not how. That's. Look, author. The shards are the size of a small moon, and one of the entities literally covers
That's
90.
no moon. That's a shard.
A splattered entity covers 90% of one Earth. They're fucking massive. So, there's a slug hovering over the Earth. It'd be like, if that was something that was happening, it'd be like, oh yeah, there's just a second
Chillin'.
moon hovering over the Earth the size of Mars. Just like, yeah, no, that's normal.
Well, no, it'd be a second moon, not a third moon, right?
I said second moon.
Oh, for some reason, I thought you said third moon.
I did, and then I corrected myself and said second
Okay,
moon.
Continue.
It looks like Nurgle had a child with a slug, and then it was dropped into a pit of crystals face first. Somebody watched too much Text-to-Speech. Son of a bitch, he said out loud. Blah blah, being a spirit and space whale slug, feeding off the pain of people. That's not how that works either. Blah blah blah. Blah blah chaos gods. Blah 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 blah. He can't defeat the whale creature on his own. Blah 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 blah. And then the Emperor drifted there and then remembered the story of Eldar Phoenix Lords. Eldar Phoenix Lords reminded the Emperor of soul amalgamation. And so the Emperor decides that if the Eldar Phoenix Lords can do it, then so can he. So he searched all
Why
of
would he
humanity.
want to do something that dirty elves did?
So then he searched humanity for the one single person that could ever possibly meet his standards.
Himself, you know?
And decided that this one girl trapped in a locker was the girl to possess and then lose to in a contest of wills. And also, the Emperor interrupts the sequence that the two giant space whales were going through. You fucking retard.
What could possibly go wrong?
I read Worm. Apparently you didn't read Worm. Because you apparently don't know anything about Worm. So, fun little fact. When the fandom does the crossovers and they have a character of crossover origins interrupting the trigger sequence that Taylor sees and then obviously forgets, of course, as in canon. Taylor's seeing a memory everyone triggering sees a memory of the events that occurred. And what people apparently don't remember about this is that one of the entities is dead. They shed their shards, and then one of them died. So when the entities are alive in the trigger scene,
They're not alive later.
it's a memory. So if you're going to have a third person perspective, you really shouldn't do it from the person interrupting, because the girl isn't triggering right now when they're shedding their shards. That was 60 years ago. Or 40 years ago that they shed their shards. Yeah. Like the whole interruption to the triggering sequencing barely passes muster, because I've seen a couple of them where it's like, and then this new entity comes out of nowhere and annihilates one of the entities, and then gives Taylor a shit ton of power from a crossover. And it's like, everyone else
Only
would be
he can't
getting
do
that.
because
Everyone else would be getting that vision too, which means like people like Alexandria and Miss Militia would remember that because they triggered. Well, Alexandria didn't exactly trigger; she was given powers. But Miss Militia would remember one of the entities being blown up and replaced with a third. I would, you know.
like it's dumb. It's really dumb.
I have no idea what you're saying, Birdie. But anyway. So the Emperor possesses the shard that was hurtling towards the girl he has chosen. And
Come to think of it, what about the Star Child? Why wouldn't you just use the Star Child instead of the Emperor of Mankind?
because fuck you.
Also, Starchild isn't canon yet.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah. Locker scene that never actually happened. Blah blah blah
How
blah.
long did she spend in the locker this time? Wait, sneaky. We need to get the bingo card
yes,
out.
yeah. How long did she spend in the locker this time?
Weeks,
Why is
days,
she
months,
coughing for, why
several
is she in the locker
years.
so much?
Insanity. Blah blah blah. Pain. Blah blah blah. She couldn't tell how long it had been. So we'll figure it out later,
For
probably.
3,000 years.
Blah
It'll give
blah.
ya
She's
such a
in a
freaking good
suspended white void. My apologies. I
suspended
had
white
not
void.
considered you are unused to this. It's literally Emperor of text-to-speech. Fucking.
Can I just say that I really like the Emperor's text-to-speech device is a great joke. I hate what it's done to crossovers because everyone's like, "Oh, I'm gonna use it." No, look, we have almost zero characterization on the Emperor apart from what we learned from the Chaos Gods, which is obviously suspect given where they're from, and a
To be fair,
two-paragraph interaction from Gulliman, where he basically goes, "The Chaos Gods might have been right. Dad's a dick." Because the Emperor's reaction to meeting one of his long-lost children back from the dead isn't, "My son's alive." It was, and this is a direct quote, "the joy of a prisoner being past a rasp." Which, for people who don't know, he's getting a nail file so he can get his way out of prison. That's what he's been given.
I mean,
And
to
that's
be
a
fair,
direct quote.
in some ways, text-to-speech device is better than actual canon.
Well, yes,
I know. I'm just saying that when they do stuff like this, it's really annoying because A, you're not brother Alpha. You are not as funny as him.
It's the same problem. Yeah, that too. So it's the same problem as when people try and write sour-bridged Kirito for their stories. Without saying it's sour-bridged Kirito, they saw sour-bridged and were like, this is a great characterization of Kirito. And it's like, yeah, sure, I guess it is. It's far more amusing than the anime version of Kirito. Well, the light novel actually goes into a lot of shit. But you aren't something witty. In fact, author, you aren't witty at all. You're nothing witty.
I would say, can we point out that in the case of the Emperor's text-to-speech device and something witty, those are not just one person. They are an entire group of people. Like the SAO Abridged, they've said that they've reached the point where one person isn't writing the jokes. Everybody who is writing jokes hates their own jokes, and they just sit around for hours going, just basically spewing bullshit out to get 30 minutes of usually great comedy.
Yeah, it's. And it's only worse off that they never mention where they got the inspiration from, because then it tells me that it feels like they think what they're doing is canon. Like,
Which is really bad.
This is how the Emperor acts. Oh, this is how Kirito acts. It's like, no.
The stories certainly would have been funnier were that the case, but those two are not intended to be comedic stories.
They are intended to be comedic stories. The abridged series, of course, are.
No. I'm talking about the main canons.
Right. All I'm saying is space slugs are like space babies. Thank you for your informative interjections, Party. I appreciate your contributions.
Anyway,
so blah blah blah, text-to-speech device, blah blah, calm child, I am the Emperor, blah blah. Parahuman, I suppose that would not be inaccurate. Evidently, this form is not reassuring. Perhaps one that's less imposing, and blah blah blah. The Emperor turned into a hot guy. Better. Much. I'm glad to inform you, Taylor. I could be called a parahuman, but I'm not here to harm you.
Hold on a minute. This is middle of the locker Taylor.
No?
Turning into a hot guy would actually make it worse than being a talking skull.
Yes.
She would go from confused to stuttering mess.
Uh-huh.
Like, to be fair, she'd probably be a stuttering mess already, but she'd turn into an even bigger one.
Yes. And then in a single line of dialogue, Taylor learned the entire history of Warhammer 40k. The rush of humanity ran through her and dragged at her sense of self. I'm not as powerful as you. Yes, I believe you are. You will come into power. What am I supposed to do? You can do anything. You're the Empress now. No, I'm not the Empress yet. Bettino says.
Hold your tongue, boy. You may be king, but you are not my king yet. What is this, fucking Warcraft 3 scenes now?
Yes.
Don't you dare mock one of the best scenes from Blizzard.
People already mock that scene every goddamn day. Dude.
Yes, I know, which is a shame because it's actually a great scene.
Glad you could bake it, Uther.
Purge yourself.
No.
Anyway, will you be a hero, a member of the Protectorate? I don't know. Would it help me? Or can I do more alone? Questions I can't answer. I suppose I'll see how things go. Yes, that's the wisest course of action. Maybe it would be a good idea to give yourself time to adapt. Blah 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 blah. I believe you may have also inherited my status as a perpetual. It will be unusual. Perpetual, that's a big thing to take in. Max! It's the origin story of being X!
Axe is axe.
X?
Axe is axe.
Max.
Max.
What?
Did you hear what I said?
No. I've been tuning out for most of this because I know nothing about Warhammer.
Oh,
And I've
Taylor
seen
is
enough
now.
butchering of Worm.
Taylor and the Emperor are now both perpetuals, forever locked together whenever they reincarnate. And they're going to be a being of immense power. And I said it's the origin story of being X.
Are you proud of yourself?
I'm very proud of myself. But anyway, plotting revenge, maybe, blah blah blah, human, blah blah blah, humbling, blah 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 blah. Text to speech, text to speech, text to speech, text to speech, blah blah blah, full scope of your powers, blah blah, money, technology, blah blah, criminal vigilante. In that case, I'd say it only counts if you get caught. Spectacular then. I need a costume. Well, you could just dress like an Imperial Guard officer. Well, no, maybe not. No, there's Nazis here, and that's a Nazi sort of thing. An armored vest and coat will protect and disguise you. You don't need to be a Nazi. And the Emperor was sort of right about that.
He's true. However, the commissar. Well, first of all, the whole general lots of skulls and gold braid is not the best imagery.
What are you talking about?
If
There
you're
is
trying to
nothing
make
wrong, she broadcasted. Because apparently she's out of her locker now. She broadcasted.
She magically
there's nothing
teleported
wrong.
out with the power of plot convenience.
Yeah, basically. Hi, Dad. Her dad was
to be fair, if she
lean,
was suddenly
lanky, and
gifted the
balding.
power of the Emperor, yes, you could just zoop yourself out of a locker.
Whoop.
2 months. 2 months later, and Taylor was ready to make her debut. Okay, well, author, I hope you realize that, yeah, 2 months is still, well, I guess that's April 1st. March, yeah. 2 months would put you in March. I really hope you're not going to do a long fight a whole month off. What am I saying? Of course you're going to do a fucking long fight. Wait.
Heap up,
Come on.
deep.
You okay there?
2 months later, after Taylor is ready, finally, after all of her training and preparations, and Taylor is standing at her locker, and then a girl nearby goes, "Oh look, it's Taylor, look who finally decided to show up. I am surprised she came back after we stuffed her in the locker." A. Public schooling would not let you get away with 2 months missing, which means you showed up, you know.
Like, I got news for you. Public schools will call parents if their children aren't there by second period.
Ma'am, your child isn't here getting information from us. We need you to come to the school right now. Please come and bring your child to school. Please, so we can get more money from the government. Thank you.
Also, do you know where your kid is? We probably should have led with that one.
Anyway, so
But
blah
we don't
blah.
really care.
Blah blah blah. All these girls are pathetic. Blah 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 blah. Sacrifice is a necessary part of life. Blah blah. And then Taylor go, oh boy, somebody took philosophy 101.
Can I also point out that the Emperor spent a bunch of time trying to keep shit low key?
Yeah, and she didn't even have a big blah 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 blah. She had been hit with a fairly large chunk of the Emperor's memories that day, and everything she had tried to make was gold and covered in skulls. I said I was sorry. You should be. The sense of fashion is terrible. Terrible. Gold is the greatest color. Now, first off, you're spelling it the British way, and as I continuously tell my British compatriots across the fucking ocean, not a goddamn pond, you scumsuckers, I will have you know that we started a war because of this. Fuck you. I'm also happy with that pun. I just want to let them know that.
I'm not sure I'm happy with that pun.
There is no scum to suck in an ocean. No, there's a lot of scum in the ocean.
Have you ever smelled rotten seaweed?
Anyway, so blah blah blah, Philosophy 101, Taylor's super deep now. Blah 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 blah, author hand waving as to why Sophia isn't nuked. Blah blah. Blah 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 blah. They'll all be Christians as well, I assume. Please don't start talking about the evils of religion. You tried to exterminate yourself, and that hardly ended well. Oh boy, so much text to speech. I wanna fucking stab myself with a goddamn ice pick. Anyway, so Taylor is in some sort of frickin' Hollywood style stealth outfit from the Tom Cruise movies. That is to say, a black turtleneck with a gas mask, apparently.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Remember to use your sight chicks to augment your physical abilities.
Not how that works.
Blah blah blah. She was good at fighting and stuff now, and she was in peak health, and she didn't even need to exercise anymore because she was so strength. Taylor's method of finding gang members was simple. First, she found a tall building, and then she jumped to the top of the building, and then she looked at the city, and then she ran towards people doing crime. Oh boy, and then Taylor looked over at Lung and Oni Lee chasing the Undersiders a month early and goes, oh, that is a gang war. I do not want to be a part of that, and then goes to ignore them. I don't know if that's worse than the Lung fight. I think, objectively speaking, I think that might actually be worse than doing the Lung fight, in that the character is sitting there going, oh, that is just a gang war between a guy who turns into a giant murder rage dragon that has
And
a corona of plasma around him.
4 15-year-olds.
Yeah.
My job is to save humanity. Except those kids. Fuck them.
Fuck those kids who are all in the situation they are because society has failed them. They are the
Boy,
problem.
if only I knew something about society failing me.
They are the problem. All these kids being failed
Why
by
didn't they just
society.
get phenomenal cosmic power like I did?
It's
Duh.
not society that's wrong, it's these kids that are wrong. Author. And then Taylor goes and beats up a bunch of normal men. She found a new edge of power. She could now create illusions and broadcast her thoughts. She could now be a terror hero.
Okay, A, that's not heroic. B, she's just a psyker.
Blah 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 blah. So a lot of people are screaming, and then Taylor is just being fucking Alma at this point. And she loots the corpses. Why didn't you tell me about the illusion thing I can do? Well, I hoped you would figure it out on your own. Well, because I thought if I told you about them all, you would never learn anything.
What? You're the Emperor. Just mind dump it. That's a thing the Emperor does.
No, literally.
That's a thing Magnus does.
Literally, the excuse given is, if I teach you everything you need to know, you may never learn anything new.
Shouldn't you teach her everything you need to know so that everything she needs to know so that
If
she can,
I teach you vital information, then you might never think about using it in a different way.
Okay, but also, this is one of the things that's always annoyed me. You're going back in time and putting humanity on Terra millions of years before the Chaos Gods ever became a problem.
Right.
Why is it not the first thing the Emperor does is go into the here's everything you need to know, go into the warp, rip these entities to tiny little pieces right now. Do it now, stop asking questions.
Do it now!
But seriously, why is that not the first thing?
Blah blah blah. Taylor goes to help Clock Blocker. Blah 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 blah. Grand entrance time. Blah blah. Taylor dropped her illusions and used her telekinetic powers to add wavy effects to the air to make it seem like she teleported. And
she could literally just teleport.
And then she's just ripping the terrible tornado's signature move from One Punch Man. And she now has debris rotating around her as she's floating in midair. Sort of like the Smurg, but you know. Who cares about accidentally doing that shit when you can just be retarded? God. Who are you to dare stand before the Empire? Normally, Taylor would call them out on being a pompous prick. However, wow, you know, with that look and calling yourself Krieg, I expected a German accent. You, not even slightly. Could you not be bothered to even try? Come on, say it with me. This is the land of the white peoples, and I shall bring war to those who would blacken it. Can you say that? I think it would really cement your Nazi vibe. Krieg stared at her for a long moment, and Taylor surreptitiously, oh fuck.
Surreptitiously.
Oh, I'm about 4 fingers in, okay.
Do we just want to stop?
Actually, this will be the last story, and then I'm gonna go into a little in-name only rant.
A little what?
In-name only.
Hmm.
And blah
Let's just get this
blah
done.
blah blah blah. I think you're right. He's not telekinetic. The girl is. Cricket's not telekinetic. She has what? Sonokinesis? However you say that?
Psychokinesis?
No, sonic. She controls sound waves.
I'm not even bothering to look at this crap.
Anyway, so blah blah blah, really shittily described fight scene. Blah blah blah, you're stronger than you seem, girl. I'm going to retreat now. Team Rocket blasting off again. Blah blah blah.
You know, now I'm terrified there's going to be an episode of Pokemon where Team Rocket's yeeting off again. In an effort for them to remain
Probably.
hip and cool with the kids.
Probably exists. Anyway, so this is the part where I rant about the in-name only thing. Write a good fight scene. We actually have written a good fight scene. All the way back in 2014, even.
I was going to say, and Max and I wrote a semi-decent fight scene, actually.
Yeah, actually, Max and I have written quite a few actually decent fight scenes. But anyway, so time for the in-name only rant. So what's bringing this on, right? Is 2001 Space Odyssey. Space baby equals space slug. I mean, I guess.
Okay, anyway.
So what brought this on is in one of the discords I'm in. Let's see if I can't find it and bring it up. One of the authors in there updated his story, and I said to him, "Why are all your characters such edgy Ninos?" And so Naruto in name only. You know, where the character is named Naruto, they have blonde hair and blue eyes usually, but they don't have chakra. They didn't grow up in Konoha. Their parents aren't Minato and Kushina. Et cetera, et cetera. So basically, it's just a character that looks like Naruto, but doesn't act like Naruto. It doesn't have Naruto's powers. Because what brought this on was the author posted out he updated his story called Raven Branwyn, and this is Orpheus. We had him on. He recently went through and purged all of his stories except the ones he was actively updating. But Raven Branwyn, Naruto Branwyn. It's a story in which Naruto was born on Remnant, doesn't have chakra, is raised by Raven, eventually marries Raven, and goes on to become the Remnant version of Attila the Hun.
Well, sure, that's great and all, but
And
it
as
has
I
nothing to do with Naruto.
as I commented, I said this is basically Naruto in name only. And the Orpheus did eventually end up agreeing with me. But he's got a couple of ball lickers, I guess I'm gonna call them, ass lickers, ball lickers, on his
Taint
server.
suckers.
Taint suckers, yeah. He's got. They were quite
Displeased with you.
adamant in their defense of Orpheus's stories and how amazing they were, and they made such accusations such as, you can't enjoy crossover stories unless you're okay with in-name only, because every single character is going to be different from canon in a crossover.
No, not true in the slightest. Like, certainly some characters will change, but you have to be objective. Like, for instance, let's say you do a crossover where you replace Naruto with someone else. The only characters that should change are people of Naruto's age bracket. Nothing else should change in terms of the world. Kakashi will still be Kakashi. The events of the Fourth Ninja War will still be the events of the Fourth Ninja War.
Well, no, the Fourth Ninja War is highly dependent on the Konoha 11.
I'm sorry, what?
The Konoha 11, as they're called. Naruto's age bracket.
Oh, I'm sorry, I meant the Third Ninja War. I'm sorry, I meant the third.
Yeah, okay.
I'm sorry, the Third Ninja War won't change.
Yeah.
Minato and Kushina might change a little, assuming that you just swap Naruto for some random other jobber
Right.
at birth.
Right.
But they won't change much. They don't have time to develop any kind of relationship with the kid.
Right. That's the thing, though. Is so then they went on to say is that it's fan fiction. Literally anything can happen, and you all know how much I fucking love that argument. And that clearly I'm just angry that Naruto should never change at all ever. Which is, again, a straw man of what I said, which is just, I expect Naruto, if you're doing a crossover, say into Ruby, for example, I expect Naruto to, at age 5, say he's crossing over into Ruby, I expect age 5 Naruto to initially act the exact same as age 5 Naruto in canon. Because nothing else changed until this very moment. And then say...
Well, he'll probably be less emotionally damaged and
No,
be
no,
happy-go-lucky.
Crossover, not fusion. Crossover.
Oh, right, crossover.
Then say 5 years later he's completely different, and you actually show some of the growth along the way so we can understand that events are occurring that's making his opinions change. Like, you don't have to show 5 years of time passing directly, but,
But give us the highlight reel.
Maybe, 6K words here and there for different little tiny time skips of, different events changing his opinions of the world or something, Give us something with some substance to be like, okay, Naruto's changing, this is why he's changing, this is how his opinions are forming. And the audience can follow along very easily with that. And no one's going to complain it's Naruto in name only when they have a series of events that they can view physically and go, okay, yes, somebody could be a little bit different if X event happened to them. But the problem with in-name only fics is that they typically jump to some unrealistic point in time where the character is just absolutely different. Like, 5 years after Naruto has been banished from Konoha for failing to bring back Sasuke and has obtained the power of the Jubi and an entire army at his back, he now returns to Konoha to wreak vengeance. And it's just like some sort of edgy little piece of shit and called Naruto, and it's just like that's Naruto in name only. We didn't see any of these events. You're just telling us that this shit happened, and so obviously Naruto's going to be different. It's like there was no growth there. Nothing changed. We didn't get to see the character diverge from canon. All you're doing is being like, yeah, guys, so this character is going to be an edgy piece of shit, but his name's Naruto, so clearly he's Naruto from canon. Oh, great. Just because
Thanks.
I
hate it.
Just because I call my beat up shit car a Ferrari doesn't make it a Ferrari. It has to start
Even
off
though you
as
stole a Ferrari's hood ornaments and painted it red.
It has to start off as a Ferrari for me to continue to call it a Ferrari, even if I put monster truck tires on it. It's still a Ferrari then. It's just I've put monster truck tires on it now. There's a difference between the two. But yeah, no, I just fucking hate people who defend it, and I just hate authors that do it in general. Because as I said to the Orpheus himself, I said I felt like him doing Naruto in that sort of Attila the Hun style remnant AU is a complete disservice to Orpheus, because Naruto doesn't need to be there. He doesn't change anything by being there. You can replace quote unquote Naruto Branwin with Crow Branwin. That would actually make for an interesting story where Crow ends up following Raven as she breaks away from Ozpin, and they actually follow through with their original plan of bringing Hunter powers back to their bandit clan, and they go on to start conquering areas with these newfound powers of theirs. That sounds like an interesting story. But instead, the story that he wrote was everything's the same except for Naruto just inexplicably is picked up / born into the Branwin
Well, no, but
bandit
let's be clear.
clan.
Not Naruto. A blonde-haired, blue-eyed
blonde-haired,
kid
blue-eyed kid
named-
named Naruto. Is born / rescued into the clan, and then goes on to become a hunter, and then goes on to betray Ozpin, and then goes on to become Attila the Hun. But all this happens off screen, and it's just like, A, no character growth. B, there's nothing there that says this is Naruto anymore. Like, if we can follow the growth of a character, then you can go, this is still Naruto. But there's nothing there that says this is Naruto. There's no point in making it a Naruto crossover. As far as I read into it, there's nothing there making it a Naruto crossover, aside from the fact that the main character's name is Naruto. That's it. That's the only thing making it a Naruto crossover. No chakra, no legendary beasts, nothing. It is literally a Ruby AU with the main character being named Naruto. And that's a disservice to Orpheus. Because his stories are actually coherent.
and well-written most of the time.
I give you a 50-50 on that. Like, some of his older stuff is pretty bad, but
I was talking grammar, but
he's improved. Yeah, he's improved a lot. His plots usually are interesting.
makes sense.
And can be followed as to why they happen. Because I actually had favorited a couple of his stories before he did the whole purge, back in the day when I read Naruto. And he actually, went through the steps of it starts with base Naruto, and then an event happens, and so Naruto goes left instead of right, and then another event happens, and he goes further left. Goes straight instead of backwards. He shows Naruto, his decisions changing. Maybe not exactly the best. I'm not gonna blame the guy. He's writing fan fiction. There is a certain standard that I expect from people, though, and he met that standard where he tried to show events occurring and Naruto's opinions and personality changing due to these events.
Well, and this is something that I've said before, and I'll say it again. If you do a crossover or a fanfiction, the best thing to do is figure out what you want to be different, follow the rails of canon until you reach an important decision where what you're trying to have occur could logically occur. Like, you want Naruto to turn into an angry, bitter, cynical jackass who has no faith in people and systematically discards all friendships because he doesn't trust anyone. Great. Have Sasuke stabbing him in the chest with lightning be that moment.
Right. Exactly. And it's not like you have to write the whole wave arc or everything. Just, all right. So you're starting the battle of the Valley of the End. That's what it's called. You start writing the first chapter. Boom. Valley of the End battle. You write the battle out, your own flavor of it. Why Sasuke? Maybe Sasuke was a little bit more aggressive this time, or whatever. Something that Sasuke did this time around made Naruto go, hold on a second. Like that little thing started to diverge from the canon.
Or even start with him in the hospital with,
somebody says something to him and he starts thinking about shit. Like, literally, you don't have
something
to...
something like, if this had been even an inch deeper, it would have severed your spine. He was legitimately trying to kill you.
It's sort of like the annoying thing that I see with I'm not gonna say Familiar of Zero's too bad about it, but Worm is pretty guilty of this, in where they'll have a completely pointless day that maybe ends with a locker or starts with the locker scene, and it's just like this is information that we didn't really need. Like, it doesn't need to be the locker either. Like, if some of these crossovers, it's like so esoteric as to how being trapped in a locker relates to this, and they just use the locker scene because I don't know, because they like the fanon idea of it or something.
Like, if you're trying to give her spider powers, you could. Here's even just a tiny change to give her Spider-Man powers. They trapped her in a locker filled with spiders. The end. Now you have a reasonable excuse to give her spider powers. It changes almost nothing, except now she can be Spider-Man. It's not that hard. Or if you're trying to give her powers, if you're trying to make her a bruiser, you don't have her trigger in the locker. You have her trigger when Sophia's beating her to hell. Which occurred on a regular basis, apparently, right, Sneaky?
It's really up in the air about how
I'm sorry,
much
let me rephrase
physical
it.
abuse.
Causing physical harm. Let's rephrase it
Yes,
to that.
no, it's really, it's really up in the air about how much of that actually happened. There's a lot of fanon that says Sophia totally punched out Taylor a bunch, but
Right, I know.
at best maybe pushing down the stairs once a week or something.
I left for a bit.
That
What
would,
did
Uh, general shoving otherwise is basically the worst that's probably going to happen, because even as fucking stupid as Sophia is, she wasn't dumb enough until the locker incident to think that so as far as I remember, wasn't it Emma that came up with the locker thing?
I think.
Well, it was either Emma or Madison. I don't think Sophia was the mastermind behind that one, because I'm pretty sure she'd be like, this is a trigger event sort of thing.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe I'm attributing too much to Sophia, but still, in Taylor in name only is a horrendous problem, where it's just Taylor hasn't even gotten her powers yet, and she's already acting completely un-Taylor-like. Naruto in name only, Harry in name only. It is so rampant in the community, and so many people defend it because they want their fucking power fantasy bullshit, where it's just some sort of stupid ass crap of.
And here's one of the things we need to get across. We don't object to power. Have a power fantasy. They can be fun. For crying out loud, that's basically all 40K is. Humanity, fuck yeah.
But enough is humanity, fuck yeah, and more humanity, okay, oh shit, what are you doing?
Sorry, Daddy,
Humanity
I've
will
been a
eventually
naughty
be fuck
girl. For the last time, it's forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. We've gone over this.
I'm sorry, what?
Sorry, Daddy, I've been a naughty girl. Response: for the last time, it's forgive me, Father, I have sinned. We have gone over this before.
I thought we had this settled, child. Anyway.
But it's just so painful. Because what's my main problem with in-name only? I would have to say my main problem with in-name only is that there's no growth. Because in all of these in-name only fics, the character never changes. Yeah, that's probably I would say my main problem is the character never changes. They never diverge away from this completely out of character personality. They never grow. They never change. They're like, no matter what happens to them, they pretty much act the same throughout the entirety of the fic until it dies. I think that's honestly my main problem. Because it's just, what was the point of this fic beyond some sort of daydream power fantasy? Fucking nothing. Did it answer any questions? No. Did it have a what if scenario? Fucking no, it didn't. It was just some stupid ass power trip that some dumbass had and said, I'm gonna put words on a fucking page. Congratulations, you have the literacy of a 5-year-old. See you all next time. There's always more, and it always gets worse.